Hello. Good time zone, everyone. And what is up, gamers? Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. I'm given to understand that this is scientifically the most depressing Monday of the year. Or quite possibly the most depressing day of the year. I don't know. In any case, I hope you're still feeling chipper and finding joy. And I hope that I can maybe, you know, be a purveyor of some chipperness and joy on this apparently extremely gloomy day. All things considered, I'm actually feeling all right, which is not always the case for me these days. So, counting my blessings there, and I hope that you are feeling blessed as well. Hello and welcome. Oh no! My art mat looks like it's on the piss. I swear I aligned everything before I started, and it just seems to have gone off for a wander. Never mind. You know what might help? Keep the vibes chipper on this very blue of Mondays. Clown now. I mean, I'm back in clown mode. Hi, everybody. Your disheveled woodland sprite clown creature is back. I just knocked over a pile of stuff. I had to rearrange my studio shelf here. Because we needed to get some things that were at the bottom of the shelves, and so a bunch of things had to be kind of shuffled around. And as a consequence, nothing's quite in the right order anymore, and nothing really fits properly, because I guess I beefed it a little bit. But listen, I had a system. The system's just kind of gone a little bit drunk. Yeah. So now I'm having to pick stuff up. I was hoping to say hello to everybody, but apparently I got to do this first. So just give me a minute, okay? Just give me a minute. Oh my god. Anyways, hello, and I hope you're all well. I hope you can hear. Oh my god, it fell over again. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, this is clearly not a stable base. I'm gonna need to put something else on the bottom of the pile for it to stay. It's just a pile of stuff. As you do. Hi, my name is ADHD. How are you? Welcome in, Turnip. Hello. I hope you are well. It's lovely to see you. Also, thank you for being here, Saribot. You are a very good bot. Ernesto, hello, and happy Monday. Hello. And Alquill, welcome in as well. Q2 says, stapled bass. Thank you. Welcome in. How are you doing? Bending over is hard. Triangles are the strongest shape. Make a pyramid of the stuff, says Dan. That sounds too mathematical. I was just gonna try and put the largest, widest things on the bottom, which I guess is kind of pyramidic. I guess that's kind of pyramidic. Anyways, as a consequence, you get to, you can see some of the stuff that was in... Are you teetering? You better not be teetering. As a consequence, I can show you some of the stuff that was in the pile, as I attempt to repile it. There's this sketch of Star Trek's Captain Janeway, which I still haven't painted. That's been waiting for like months to get painted. Oops. There's just a whole bunch of boxes, most of which have watercolors inside them. Oh no, some watercolors stuck to this box. That's not any good. There's my sketchbook, which I got from the Magritte Museum in Brussels a couple years ago, and I love it. There's a couple more sketches. This was like an idea for an emote, but I feel like I need some... With coffee, says Alquill. Hell yeah, she's got coffee. I actually contemplated painting it in coffee, but I'm probably just going to use an ink that looks coffee adjacent in color. Like, no, not that one. That's too red. But I've got a couple of coffee adjacent browns. I'll probably just use one of those. Anyways, this was like an emote concept that I need to resketch it, because I think it needs to be a bit more sort of compressed. Everything needs to be more compressed for an emote, because emotes are tiny, and you've got to pack a lot of detail into a very cramped space. Emotes are quite claustrophobic. Speaking of claustrophobia, I also have this little drawing of some characters from Star Trek that I sketched over Christmas. As you can see, it's a nice, mild January day on Earth, and therefore this guy who has absolutely zero tolerance for the cold is wearing about 1,000 layers of thermals, and also mountaineering sunglasses, because he doesn't like bright lights, and you know what? That's fair and relatable, neither do I. And then Just, these paints used to be in a very specific order. The pans themselves all look very similar in color, so it's hard to tell which one's which. These are the paints that I used to paint that portrait of me right over there that's talking to you. Yeah, I had them in a very specific order because it's hard to tell which one's which because they're all so dark. And then it fell, and now I no longer know which one is which, except for this one, which is like an outsized shade of red compared to the rest. So, whoops. And then just some empty pans that, because I bought too many at one point, from Jackson's Art Supplies. What else is here? I have a half-finished sketch that I ended up... Oh, man. I don't know. Artists. Anybody else find themselves sometimes in a situation... Anybody else find themselves in a situation where you can't find a specific reference for a specific pose that you need, so you end up having to take a really awkward mirror selfie in order to get close to it? Because I did earlier today, and that's how I ended up with this embarrassing bathroom mirror selfie. I'm just gonna zoom in so you can't see, like, my whole house. Stupid, but I just needed to see someone's arm doing that specifically, and I couldn't find one. So I just had to, you know, sometimes, like, people who say you shouldn't use references are full of crap. I have, like, the opposite of a photographic memory, okay? So I can't remember how a person's arm goes posed like that, so I have to take a dumbass photo of myself holding my arm that way so that I can see how it looks so that I can draw it. Like, that is the glamorous life of an artist. It's just taking, like, ugly selfies of yourself doing weird poses with your hands and arms and stuff. There's so many of those scattered throughout my camera roll. Anywho, let me catch up with chat, because I've definitely missed some stuff. Q2 says, Sammy, can you tell turnips are really cool? Turnip, you're really cool. That is correct. Also, so are you, Q2s. Also, hello. Q2 says, but hexagons are bestigons. I mean, it rhymes, so it must be true. Please don't accidentally summon Bill Cipher. I will try not to. I've seen like 4 episodes of that show. Please don't spoil it for me. No, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I've seen so many GIFs of it on Tumblr over the years. I probably know the entire plot. But I will watch it at some point. I just no longer have a Disney Plus subscription, so I can't. Anyways, you can build a hexagon out of triangles. Ooh, true. Q2 says, I never find myself in situations, only accidents. I hope they're happy accidents. I hope they're happy accidents, at least. Anyways, hello, everyone. How's everybody doing? I hope you are well. I hope you had good weekends. And happy 5 years of streaming to me. This is the... I don't know, this is so stupid. But this is my... This week marks the 5-year anniversary of me starting to live stream, but I'm pretty sure the anniversary date is technically Wednesday. So Thursday I'm doing a big, like... celebratory stream. I'm gonna try and line up some fresh memes for us to reminisce about, find some, you know, like terrible old clips of me doing embarrassing things and being embarrassing, so that'll be fun. Hopefully fun. And I was thinking of basically just redrawing one of the... I don't have an archive of my past streams until, like, maybe, I think, was it 2024? I don't know. Anyways, never mind. Mimicry? What are you doing? Thank you.
Oh hell yeah. Mimicry _2311 just subscribed.
Thank you so much for the sub. That is so incredibly sweet and kind and lovely and wonderful of you. And thank you so very much. I very much appreciate it with my entire heart. I hope you enjoy your emotes and stuff. I am working on a new one and possibly swapping out some old ones that are a little bit dusty. So there might be some new emotes soon. I feel like this streamiversary time is a good time to renew some of that stuff. And do some updates, but after the celebrations, because I want to celebrate first. But yeah, I don't have an archive of my streams from back then, because I was just like, it's just ephemera. It goes away after 2 weeks and it doesn't matter, right? And then someone asked me, because they wanted to watch my VODs, but they didn't always get a chance to see them before they expired, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll set up a YouTube channel and spend, like, honestly, an outsized amount of my time editing out the music I have a license for here on Twitch, but I don't on that specific YouTube channel. Turns out it takes like 4 hours to render one of those videos to take out the audio that I can't use. But worth it. Anyways, Kakalakola, welcome in. Hello, hello, hello. I hope you are well. But yeah, so my point being, sorry, got off track there. I only have like an archive of old streams from a certain point onwards and not from the very beginning. So I don't actually know what the first piece of artwork I did on stream was, but I have kind of a ballpark idea of what some of the earliest works were. So I'm going to choose an early work from those 2021 streams and attempt to see if we can improve upon it. Has my art actually gotten any better? And also just look at, oh damn, what my art looked like back then. That'll be embarrassing and fun. And also probably look at some old clips and that kind of thing and remember how we got here. Shenanigans, terrible drawing times. There will be terrible drawing times. I'm thinking of taking the cap off the number of terrible drawing times we can request in one stream, just in case a bunch of people want them. You can. What else? Oh yeah, and a giveaway. So hopefully it'll be fun. Hopefully people will have a good time. I don't know. I'm bad at planning these kinds of things. I don't know what kind of things people enjoy. But I hope it will be a nice, silly, fun, shenanigan-filled time, and we can maybe think about, you know, how we would like this stream to proceed. Is there stuff I can be doing differently? Is there stuff I can be doing better? Is there stuff people would enjoy more than I'm doing right now? Or are people happy with you know, sort of the content? Obviously, it's all within what's within my means of being able to do so with regard to, like, budget, schedule, and spoons, but, you know. Anyways, in other self-news, not related to Streamiversary Week shenanigans, also I will be streaming Silk Song as normal-ish on Friday, but I will be shoehorning a giveaway into that stream as well, and I have a little stupid secret plan that I want to try and enact for Friday's stream, and I don't want to say what it is, just in case it doesn't work, because I don't want to spoil it if it doesn't. But if it does work, I think it'll be really stupid and fun, and I hope people will think it's stupid and fun too. But anyways, I haven't been doing a ton of off-stream painting because I've been really trying hard to finish this sewing project that I started a little while ago. And I finished it on Saturday. So I'm very pleased about that. It looks really good and cute. I don't really have any good photos of it yet, because we're planning to go out probably next weekend and actually take some proper pictures of it. But I can show you some bad camera footage of me wearing it. I made that shirt! Also, this is a different angle of the studio. Please ignore it. Anyways, my moderator/spouse just came home. Yippee! I'll be back in just a second. I'm gonna go say hi to him. At least I hope it's my moderator/spouse. Otherwise, help! Honey? Yay, it's you! Hi, baby. You can have a nap, another shower. It's still early. It's only 10 o'clock. Your hair doesn't take that long to dry. Even if you shower at like 8, it's probably still dry in time. It's not like mine. It's been like hours and hours and the ends are still damp. Technically, yes. Anyway. Come in. Settle in. Go have some rest. And one more thing. I love you. Welcome home. Nice sunshine. Okay. Moderator/spouse is off to rest. Because he's had a very long day. Because it's Monday, and Monday's shitty. Anywho, I am taking a sip of my tea and trying to remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I finished an off-stream painting yesterday, and I feel very proud of that. Also, that's an adequate cup of tea. This is okay. First of all, I need to foreground this by saying that the reason that this was an off-stream painting is that it's Star Trek fan art. So there you have it. Anyways, but I think it's cute. Okay. I did this sketch absolutely ages ago. I just wanted to do a cute little fan art of the little boys from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, having a nice afternoon, just frog and toading it up really, and yeah, I hope people like it. Anyways, I had a nice time doing it, and also I got to draw their super 90s, like, sci-fi future civilian clothes, which I always find are really fun. So many, man, people just really get into dressing in, like, fabric patterns that look like public transit seat maquette at some point in the 24th century, apparently, and you know what? I'm here for it. Anyways, Mimicry says, oh, Star Trek, I heard StarCraft and got confused. I barely even know what StarCraft is. I'm sorry. Anyways, Alcohol said, that's awesome. Kakalakola said, I second that. That's awesome. Thank you so much, friends. I appreciate it. Thank you. I wonder if Nog ever wondered why humans have a drink named after him. What I want to know is, because he does spend some time hanging out on Earth, I think. Doesn't he? I think he definitely goes to Earth at some point. Anyways, I want to know if he's ever tried it and does he like it. Because, personally, if I found out that there was a drink called Sammy and I just thought it was, like, nasty, like if it tasted like onion juice or something and it was just bad, I would feel so sad and so betrayed that, like, people think of this when they think of me. Oh, no. You know? That being said, I didn't have any... Okay, so... Eggnog and nog generally is weird for me because I grew up enjoying it as like a holiday treat back in Canada, and then I moved to the United Kingdom and I assumed like this is a super old drink that's been around for like gazillions of years, surely. Like I'm pretty sure it dates back to at least like there are versions of this type of beverage that's made with like eggs and sort of enriched and has alcohol in it and that kind of thing for centuries, right? They're gonna have that stuff here in the UK. You can't just buy a carton of eggnog in the United Kingdom. You can't do it. You can make your own from scratch, and I'm sure there are some people who do, but like you can't just buy cartons of it like you can back in Canada, and I thought that was really surprising. But also, my preference in the last, like, I would say sort of 10-15 years or so anyways, has been, like, a plant-based nog. Partially just because I find that the, like, classic eggnog is so cloyingly sweet. So cloyingly sweet. That I actually kind of find it too full on. The last time I had it when I went back to Canada and I managed to get my hands on a carton, I was like, I need to cut this with just regular milk. Because it's so strong. And so my strategy these days is effectively to just take, like, a glass of Barista Edition oat milk, serve it warm with a little bit of maple syrup and some cinnamon and nutmeg in it, and I'm like, ta-da! Oat nog! Good enough! I could conceivably put, like, rum in it if I wanted to, but then I'd have to, like, purchase rum and have that much alcohol in my house, and I don't... Is there a brand of coffee called Sammy? Is there? Kakalakola, I need to find out, and I need to find out if it's good. Hold up. I need to know about this. What? Okay, there's a coffee shop in Indonesia. And then so the results I have are a coffee shop in Indonesia called Sammy Coffee, which, cool. Honestly, it looks pretty cute. I have no plans to go to Indonesia anytime soon, but, like, I would 100% go there and get a coffee just because, like, look at the cups. That's really stinking cute. I want to go to there. Honestly, their menu looks pretty legit. Anyways, the next result that I have is an article from JSTOR about coffee culture among the Sami people of northern Scandinavia, which is also I'm you know, I'm clicking on this article because my curiosity has now been piqued. Um, oh no, this article is kind of long. Um, but okay, just one sentence here. Coffee was initially used as a complement to reindeer broth. Interesting, but it soon became drinked in its own right, or served with cow's milk or goat's milk, as well as with cheese and dried reindeer meat as a nice little. You know what? That sounds delightful. And I love that for them. Any, I'm not gonna read that whole article for now, but one thing that did happen to me once that kind of broke my brain, because my name, such as it is unusual, right? Um, not it's not super unusual in and of itself, but the spelling of it is unusual, certainly in English. Um, and one time I I was looking to purchase a coffee, like, because, you know, I go through a reasonable amount of coffee, and I like trying out different coffee roasteries from different parts of the country and that kind of thing. When I do, you know, like I've got a roastery that we like drinking from in the city that I live in, that's a staple for us, but I also like to sort of go back and forth between that one and trying out other roasteries elsewhere in the country. And this one time, they had, I guess they were, I think it was for their like Christmas coffee, they were doing personalized labels. So if you were giving it as a gift, you could like enter the person's name, and they would like print that name on the label for the bag of coffee. So it would be like a special coffee for whoever. And the example name that they put in their social media posts was a special coffee for Sammy. And I was like, am I being because I'd been looking at coffees on their website, and I think I'd possibly like followed their social media recently, and I was just like, are they stalking me? What's going on? Is this some kind of weird like personalized graphic where everyone sees their own name? Or is this just an insane coincidence? Because, you know, like if my name was just like Mike or Anne, I wouldn't think anything of it, but my name is an unusual spelling of a somewhat less common name. What the hell is going on here? And I replied to the post, and I was like, is this about me? Is this for me? And they never, and I was like, this is a wild coincidence, and they never replied to me. And I personally, I think they should have like given me a bag of coffee just for that, for having inadvertently freaked me out that hard. And then they ghosted me, and I did get a bag of their holiday blend coffee, and I thought it was just mid, so I'm not going to tell you who it was because I don't want to give them promotion. Anyways, I'm sure they're perfectly nice coffee people. I just honestly didn't rate the coffee that particularly amazingly. It was just fine. We need more Bort license plates, says Dan. Yup. Listen, Bort is a very popular name. I know tons of Borts. Anywho, I thought I might actually paint some stuff today. What do you think? Is that wild? Is that crazy? Is that so out of pocket that it would be inappropriate to do on an art stream to actually paint? I don't know. Kakalakola says, I mean, give it a few years. The way personal data tracking is going, online stores will probably start selling personalized products to you with your name on it. I would not be surprised. I very would not be surprised. There was something that I saw about this reminds me of like the Internet of Things and the way that like your everything is connected to the internet. There was a woman, I feel so bad for her. She genuinely thought that she was having like a psychotic episode because an advert appeared on the screen of her smart fridge. There was just like an ad for a TV show, but coincidentally it was just like a block of text with, you know, like, we want to apologize to you, Mary. And that was her name, and she thought that like someone was trying to communicate with her through her fridge, and she was like, what is going on? And she like checked into the hospital over it, and it turns out that no, she was fine, but her fridge is serving her ads. That's terrifying. I do not want that. I do not want to have to operate my toaster via like a touch screen that connects to an app. I don't want to operate my coffee scale via an app, or my coffee brewer, or my coffee grinder. I do not. There is a toilet that you can buy that's like £20,000. It's like a whole ass person's income for a year for a toilet. And guess what? The toilet connects to an app. And the question I have to ask about that is, where is the data that this app is collecting, presumably, about the waste that you are evacuating into this toilet? Where is that data going? Are companies getting information about, like, your regularity and then giving you adverts for, like, hey, try our electrolyte drink. We don't think you're hydrated enough. Or, like, have you considered this fiber supplement? You might want to try... Like, that's terrifying. That's so terrifying. No. No, I do not want this. This is not the future I want to live in. Anyways. Mimicry says, I don't want the Internet of Things, and I have yet to meet someone who does. Absolutely. And I think the thing that's most telling for me is that I don't know anyone who works in, like, a tech-related job or field who's like, yes, I want the Internet of Things. They're like, no. I want the least smart house possible, you know? It's just like, I don't need this. It adds extra layers of complication. It's extra things to break, and it's extra places for, like, your personal data to go that you just don't think about. Like, no, no, no one wants this. Anyways, yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree with you, Mimicry. A whole ass person's income for a toilet to track a person's whole ass. Yeah. Like, why would you want that? Anyways, I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. Deliciousness. I think this is creme brulee tea. So it's like a black tea with sort of a bit of a sort of caramelly taste to it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And I think if you're looking for something that's kind of sort of indulgent and creamy and tastes like black tea, it's a good choice. I have kind of gone off of flavored black teas lately. I used to be quite into them. But these days I'm finding I'm gravitating much more towards, like, herbal teas, fruit teas, like spice teas, or if I am having a black tea, it's either going to be just a black tea. Like, it might be a nice just black tea, but it's tea that doesn't have, like, flavor and stuff added to it. So I can taste the actual, you know, interestingness about the tea, or possibly just have, you know, sort of a comforting builders. Or masala chai, but I don't put masala chai in the same category as a flavored black tea because it's got, like, bits and spices in it as opposed to something that's had, like, sort of flavoring wafted at it. I don't know how whatever flavor essences they use to create, like, you know, caramel flavored tea or biscuit flavored tea, and I think some of them are very effective and very good, but it's just not really my bag these days. I don't know, I'm drifting away from that as, like, a preferred tea taste I'm noticing in terms of what I'm buying. But I have this left over from my tea advent calendar, so I'm trying to sip it down so I can get rid of the cardboard box out of my house. Anyways, Kakalakola says, I saw a meme about how tech people in the 90s were all about having the latest devices in tech. Nowadays, tech people are all about avoiding the latest devices and such. I feel like it really is somewhat of an indicator, don't you? Like, it really does feel a little bit like that. It's like, so the people who work in these industries seem to not be adopting these things. Maybe they know something. I don't know. Anywho. I'm gonna try and figure out how to do the rest of this painting. I was debating whether or not to put some, like, floorboard texture on the bottom of this floor, but I think I'm gonna not. I think I'm just gonna leave it, because I think that'll be easier, and I want to give myself a little bit of ease, because this is a lot. I think I'm gonna start going in and doing some lines and textures for our little bookies, because that's a nice... that's a nice task, but also a task that's going to take a little bit of time. So, to introduce these paints, for anyone who doesn't know, also to introduce Craig the Toad Wizard, who's here. Get focus, please. Look at his little face. This is Craig the Toad Wizard. He is obviously a toad and also a wizard. He's a very good boy. And he has kind of an interesting relationship with Terry the Forg Mage, our friend of the channel, and as much as I think Craig thinks it's a little bit more antagonistic than it is, Terry just thinks they're buds. He thinks they're pals and friends, and you know, likes Craig. Craig thinks they're in a bit of a competitive relationship, but it is entirely one-sided. Like, Terry just thinks he's a cool guy, and Craig is like, he's so cool. I need him to know that I'm cooler than he is, you know, that kind of thing. And I hope he learns to chill and maybe be a little bit more secure in himself, but that's where he's at the moment. Speaking of spices, have you tried spiced coffee? Says Kakalokola. I've had coffee with spices. I've had cinnamon in coffee, which I don't always super love. I know it's quite a popular pairing to either like put cinnamon on top of a cappuccino, or I've had a lot of like situations with like, you know, sort of cinnamon syrup or gingerbread syrup, or at one point like cinnamon bun flavored like coffee creamer. None of which really did anything for me, but what I do really like is in certain countries it's quite normal to add cardamom to coffee, and that I think is a really, really nice combination. Yes, delightful. Kakalokola says my uncle introduced me to black coffee with powdered cardamom in it, and I do like that a lot. The cardamom's lovely, and it pairs really nicely with coffee, personally. Anyways, hello Leaky, welcome in. How are you doing? It's wonderful to see you. Welcome. Hello. But yes, I do just, cardamom is such a good spice, especially for like, it's a spice that I personally associate a lot with like sweetie type baking, pastry, beverage, tea, coffee, that kind of vibe. I know it's used in a lot of like savory contexts as well, but it's one of those ones where like if it's quite prominent, cardamom and also mint. Mint, whenever I taste it, I'm like, this wants to be in something sweet, and I feel the same way with cardamom. Those two are my specific ones, I think, where it's just like, that wants to be sweet, to like my taste buds. Oh, this reminds me that we're getting into semla season. If you're not familiar with semla, it is a type of enriched like bread bun, like a sweet bread bun that is then filled with, depending on where it's from, either like a marzipan cream filling or marzipan cream filling or a like jam filling, and then topped with a generous swirl of whipped cream. And they are so good. They are so good. And I can't recall whether or not I've made them since I had to give up eating wheat, because I can't just go out and get them now, because I don't really live in a place where you see semla in too many bakeries. There's like 2 places I know of in London that do them. If you're in London, Scandi Kitchen do semla buns this time of year, and they also have a whole bunch of different flavors if you can digest wheat. They've got a location quite near Oxford Circus, and then another one that's near Victoria Station. I recommend. If you can digest wheat, they are good. But they also have a bunch of other stuff. It's a nice little place to go. Not sponsored. I just like it. I like going there for lunch, because you can get veggie meatballs or just like a whole bunch of salads. They're really good. Anyways. There are quite a few non-sweet recipes around these parts that call for a bit of cardamom, says Kakalakola. Oh yeah, absolutely. There's loads of recipes where cardamom is in a savory context. It's just one of those things where my mouth is like, specifically my taste buds are like, this wants to be sweet. And I'm like, no, 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 it doesn't. This is fine. It's like, no, this is a dessert flavor. And it's like, no, no, just because it's in semla buns doesn't mean it has to be dessert. But that's just like the mental association that I have with cardamom for some reason. I guess probably cardamom buns. Anyways, semla, is that an official holiday or something? Asks Mimicry. So semla is the name of the bun, or semlor is the plural. Anyways, it is, they are specifically usually enjoyed early in the year, in the lead up to Lent, as a delightful treat before, I guess, you give up having any treats, if you are, like a religion person. But I think most people just have them now because they're delicious and fun, and less to do with, any kind of religious festival gubbins. And I am about as religious as an old boot. I just like sweet buns that are flavored with cardamom and filled with almond cream and whipped cream that I can then unceremoniously shove in my gob. There is no elegant way of eating these buns, but they're very good. Kakalakola says, makes me think of the time I made ginger tea that turned out to have a bit of garlic in it. Oh no! But on the other hand, that was probably very healthy. Your immune system was probably very happy about it, even if it tasted like soup. I mean, listen, the number of foods that I make that I use the same microplane grater to grate my ginger and garlic, it is, you know... I have to be very careful to make sure that I have very thoroughly cleaned the microplane grater before grating any of my ginger root into it, because if I then subsequently use the rest of that ginger root to make gingerbread, say, I don't want my gingerbread to taste of garlic. Even though ginger garlic is a very nice combination when you're making, you know, like soup or like a bean curry or something with tofu. Anyways, and I mean, I like garlic, says Kakalakola. Fair enough. Me too. It's delicious. And the tea wasn't all that bad. Oh, that's nice. Just the initial shock. Oh my goodness. I mean, you know, there are savory teas as well, so why not? Al Quill says, I have a recipe for a nice soup with carrot, parsnips, meat, potatoes, cinnamon, and sugar. That does sound very, very cozy. I do like a savory cinnamon context for sure. I've done, actually there's quite a lot that ends up having cinnamon in it that I make because it's in a couple of spice blends that I like to use. But also, it's like the star spice in a soup that I've made a few times where I roast tomatoes and then make like a chickpea and roasted tomato soup with cinnamon. Slaps. Incredibly cozy. Chuck a couple bay leaves in there for fun, you know? You've got a quality soup. Anyways. Some sort of bee says, also, hello, welcome in. Lovely to see you. We used the cheese grater for lemon zest and then made mac and cheese and lemon oils got on the cheese, but it was surprisingly amazing. I could see that being really good. I could see that being really, really good. Yeah. Like, you could, if you toasted up some breadcrumbs with, like, garlic and lemon zest and put that on top of a mac and cheese, that is so elevated. So I absolutely am not surprised that using, like, a grater that's given you some lemoniness to your mac and cheese, that would be really, really nice. Add a little bit of acidity, add a little bit of aroma. That sounds really good. Sounds really good. Anyways. I've had tea flavored with a bit of green chili, says Kakalakola. Hell yeah. I've only had red chili in tea. And peppercorn as well. Also nice. I like a spice blend for tea that throws some peppercorn in there. I think that's nice. It gives it a little bit of it gives it a little warmth and a little bit of a punch that I think sometimes some spice blends for me are missing. I don't like getting, you know, sort of a chai and it's just like, this is hot milk that someone sprinkled cinnamon on top of. I find that incredibly disappointing. I want it to actually taste like there's like the spices are kind of they're you know, the spices are giving you a warm hug from the inside, but it's not just like one of those very non-committal sort of like I'm just vaguely sort of touching your shoulders hug. It is like I am bringing you in and crushing your soul back into your body hug. That's what I want from a chai, you know what I mean? Anyways, is a savory tea not just a soup? Oh, Biddle boy, there is a question. There is a question. Is like is soup broth? Is that tea? Is tea soup? Is cereal with milk soup? I thought koala tea soup was an Australian thing, says Kakalakala. Oh no. Oh no. Things I've had in tea, says Kakalakala. Garlic, unintentionally. Chili, me too. Delightful. Ginger, just so good. Cinnamon, cardamom, clove, yes. Wonderful. Love it. Wholeheartedly agree. All of those except garlic I've had in tea. And they are good. I like a bit of Leaky says, I'm always disappointed that supermarket chai wasn't remotely like, say, oh, does Dishoom do a nice chai? That's good to know. I've never been to Dishoom. I've had it recommended as being a good place for a meal. I have to scrutinize menus so hard these days as a non-wheat enjoyer and also a vegetarian and also allergic to mushrooms. But I have looked at Dishoom as a possible go-get food place. I see there's the one in the center of London that every time I go past, there's just like a queue. So it must be pretty good. Alcohol says, I don't like the way ginger tea makes my mouth burn. That's fair. Ginger is the spicy of the earth, after all. There are the elements of spicy. There's obviously chili is fire spicy. Mint is ice spicy. Chili is fire spicy. Mint is ice spicy. Ginger is earth spicy. I'm missing an element. Which spice is air spicy? Don't know. I'll have to come back to that. Anyways. Maybe it's cardamom. Cardamom's kind of got like a sort of camphory note to it. Could be cardamom. Anyways. Pepper spray says mimicry. Oh no, I'm not sure pepper spray counts as a spice. I would not put it on, don't put it on your omelet. That's horrifying. I actually don't mind the burn of ginger. Like, I will drink ginger juice if I'm having a lot of tummy troubles or if I'm under the weather. And actually, it's because it's a different spicy to, like, the capsaicin spicy of chilies, which I'm not a fan of. I actually don't mind it. Though it is quite intense, or it can be. Pepper because it makes you sneeze. You know what? Yes. But not pepper spray. Just regular pepper. Bees says, I hate how in the US tea is usually marketed as a diet drink instead of a rich, luxurious dessert experience. Yeah, I remember buying this oolong tea, and it was being marketed as, like, diet drink as opposed to just, like, a delicious oolong tea. I was buying it because it was a delicious oolong tea. It was really nice. But they had, like, user testimonials, and they were saying things like, you know, oh man, I lost so much weight drinking this tea. I've already lost 5 pounds and it's been a month. And it's like, okay, is it because of the magical weight loss properties of the tea, or is it the fact that you swapped out drinking full-fat Coca-Cola for drinking unsweetened tea? Because it might just be because you're getting about, you know, like 500 calories less in a day because you're not drinking full-fat Coca-Cola or Frappuccinos or whatever the hell you were having. Like, that's it. That's the difference. Anyways. Iced spiced tea should taste like it was served by ice. Oh, God. Thank you for reminding me of the hellscape that we live in, Leaky. America, I'm so sorry, and I hope you're all okay. Please be safe. Coca-Cola says it might be a regional thing. People around here prefer their coffee and tea with a lot of cream and sugar. I used to drink my coffee with a lot of cream and sugar, and then I moved to the UK, and man, do people not use cream as like a beverage accoutrement here, unless it's like whipped cream on top of a hot chocolate or something like that. Coffee cream is not a thing, so I switched over to skimmed milk. And generally, I also use a lot less sugar, but I'm also drinking, like, much lighter roasted, like, specialty coffees compared to, like, the supermarket coffee I was drinking when I lived back in Canada. And man, that stuff just doesn't need as much stuff in it because the coffee tastes better on its own. Turns out, if your coffee's really good, it needs less stuff in it, for me anyways. But that's also highly personal. Anyways, Leaky says, I used to occasionally have the Dishoom breakfast, a bacon and spiced ketchup naan, and sweet chai, but I haven't had it in years. Yeah, specifically the breakfast at Dishoom has been recommended to me as, like, a really, really good place to go for breakfast. I just don't go out for breakfast very often. I don't eat breakfast very often, and if I do, it's probably going to be, like, a pot of yogurt with maybe some granola, or a bit of fruit, and probably nothing more complicated than it used to maybe be a croissant or whatever, but I can't really do that anymore. So it's not really something I'm likely to do unless I'm going out and it's honestly like 11 or 12 and technically it's the breakfast menu, but it's like lunch. You know what I mean? Anyways, Coca-Cola says, I'm curious how coffee/tea would go with coriander or cumin. I've seen sweet spice blends that include coriander. Cumin's got that, like, pungency that feels very savory to me, though. But there's kind of, like, a woody citrusness to coriander that... I think I've seen coriander seed used in tea, but I've never seen cumin seed. I don't think I've ever had cumin seed in a sweet context. I don't know. To like, the taste buds of my mind, it feels like it really feels like it wants to be salty. So, I too would be quite curious about that, actually. If anyone knows, if anyone's had a tea that has cumin seed in it, sound off in the chat, y'all. We are interested in your thoughts. Yes, cumin soda. And is it sweet, or is it just like fizzy water that's got cumin seed in it? 'Cause, like, I'm familiar with, like, you know, getting, like, cumin seeds are long like skinny rice grains. The people usually roast it and crush it into a powder. Yeah, cumin soda it's very sweet. Ah, interesting. Because I know, like I'm familiar with, you know, doing like a yogurt drink that's made with cumin seed, but then it's like salty yogurt and it's like a refreshing savory drink, which is delightful when it's really hot out and you don't want something sweet. And slightly salty, which works in its favor. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like cumin and salt just kind of go together in my brain. But combining that with sweet that's really interesting. You've piqued my interest. I don't know where I'd be able to get it here. I could check. There's some supermarkets that have some interesting things from not the United Kingdom, because it's definitely not like a peak traditional British flavor combo that I'm familiar with. But anyways, but yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, well, we're coming up into ads shortly, but I did manage to get the outlines on one color of book, so that's a good start. Maybe I will I'm gonna I think work my way around the rainbow, because that'll probably be the easiest way to do it, like cleaning my brushy between goes. So I'm gonna do red next, because it's quite an orangey red. For anyone who's not familiar with this paint palette, all of these paints are just like a very standard rainbow of colors, but I've blended each one with a reasonable amount of burnt umber. So they're all, which is why everything's got kind of a brownish cast here. Like this is blue, but it's like not blue, it's brown. This gray is also brown. You know, this is brown. Everything is brown. Basically. Or like to varying degrees it's brown. But, around these parts, says Kakalakolo, there's a spicy smoothie of sorts combining ingredients like crushed, paste mint leaves, black pepper, cumin, mustard, among other things. Oh, mustard, no. Mustard is my least favorite thing to put in my mouth, I'm afraid. It looks almost identical to caraway, which tastes more sweetish. Yeah, caraway is an interesting... Okay, mustard seed, caraway seed are definitely in the vicinity of spices that I do not ever want to have inside my mouth. No, thank you. But that's just me personally. Like they're breads with surprise caraway seed in them that I've had before, and I'm like, nope. No, thank you. Anyways, hello, Tals. Welcome in. I'm so sorry we're just about to go into a break, but hi, I hope you're well. I like mustard and wasabi on account of how well it can clear out the sinuses. Now, that's the thing. I do love wasabi, and I don't mind horseradish. But mustard, Mustard, I'll pass. Surprise mustard is a way to get in my bad books. Anyways, I'm going to BRB because you're about to get dumped into ads. I'm so sorry. I will be right back. Have a good break, everyone. Have a drink, have a stretch, do all that jazz. I will see you very shortly. BRB. What's up, friends? Ads are done. Hi again. Thank you for sticking around. I hope that you had a pleasant break, and I hope it's nice to be back. Hello. And welcome to... Have I been streaming for 5 years this week? It's not until later this week, but how have I been streaming for 5 years this week? What am I doing? I still, this is the thing, like, you would think by this point I would be, like, a consummate professional and very, very good at streaming, and no, I'm just okay. I think I've definitely learned some things. My stream has grown and changed in that time. I have a PNG tuber now, which is very exciting. I actually have 2 different PNG tubers. I'm probably going to make another one soon. But I don't want to spoil that because I haven't done it yet, and I might not do it. But I also have my pirate Sona, and then I have whatever the hell this creature is. Yay! Keep things interesting. That's a lot of streaming to fit in a single week, says Tals. I know, 5 years in a week. That's a lot. Anyways, but yeah, we will be having a little, somewhat more celebratory stream, because I feel like letting 5 years of strams pass and not observe it in any way would be extremely remiss of me. I want to celebrate how grateful I am to all of y'all for, like, hanging out with me. It's nice, and I appreciate it a lot. I really, really do. You're all breathtaking, as I've said many times, and I mean it. Okay. Alright. But for now I'm painting books. Painting my little bookies. And thinking about stuff. Okay. Anyways, Bees says, I really enjoy the piano music on the ad breaks. Ah, thank you! That is, that track comes from Epidemic Sound. It's called, I believe, The Rose and the Thorn is the name of the song, if you have an Epidemic account and want to look for it. You can do that there. Any stream music that there is, like, starting soon stuff. Actually, no. 2 pieces of stream music that there are. Starting soon stuff and BRB music. Oh wait, is that... Yeah, the ad breaks is called The Rose and the Thorn. The starting soon music is called, I think, it's called like Wolf Pack or something like that, weirdly. Something like that. And then the technical difficulties music actually comes from the YouTube music library. And just because I think it felt like the most technical difficulties piece of music that I could find. So that's why that's there. And that's called Ipanema Daydream, if memory serves. Just in case anyone ever wants to look for any of these tracks. If you're watching this on the VOD on YouTube, I'm sorry you don't get to listen to the Epidemic music. If you want to hear other Epidemic sound music in my videos, you can go look at my main channel, which is just youtube.com/SammyKelch. I occasionally upload videos there. I'm trying to do it more often this year, I hope, but oh god, like I've already started the year being too busy and too tired. So it's going great. Alquill is switching to lurk mode because she needs to tidy. Have a lovely lurk. Thank you so much for lurking, and I hope that your tidying goes exceptionally well. Oh gosh. Doot doot. Noot noot. Okay. I'm just gonna keep adding these funky little book textures to all of my different little bookies. Like so. What are all of these books about? You know, the usual. Various aspects of magic, I would assume. I'm sure they contain many interesting secrets about the world of magic and the doings of the magic, because as we know, wizards are big magic nerds, at least according to Dungeon Dragons. Wizards are the dudes that do a lot of, like, scholarly magic, I suppose. They learned it from books and stuff, whereas sorcerers are just like, my granddaddy's a dragon. He's got the entire first printing of the Twilight Saga. Ooh, maybe. What's the line? Hold tight, spider monkey. Is that in the books also, or did they make that up for the movie? I don't know. This is gonna shock and stun you, but I've never read the Twilight books. I did see the first movie in the theaters with my sister-in-law because we both enjoy things about vampires, and I thought it was incredibly silly. I do appreciate the color grading of that movie. The entire film feels like a music video because it all has this weird sort of green color grading. And if you know anything about, like, the language of color in cinema, you know that, like, green lighting is, you don't experience green lighting or green, like, the way that things are color graded in a green way very much in real life, and as such it tends to lend an uneasy, unnatural, like, something is off here feeling to any scene that is color graded green. So it's always really interesting when filmmakers choose to green stuff. As we all know, sort of like, you know, like, if something is color graded in yellow, it's probably because the filmmakers are taking us to, like, a hot country for reasons wholly unbeknownst to me. It's like, wow, you just slapped, like, the sunshine yellow filter on top of this. Everything looks like it's been coated in turmeric. We must be in Mexico. What the hell is going on here? That was one of those cinematic conventions that I just hate. It's so stupid. Stop doing it. But the green for this is supposed to make you uneasy, and I think in some cases it's like, did you mean to color grade this green? Because I don't know whether or not I'm supposed to feel uncomfortable with this scene. Like, there's, like, if you've got a wedding scene and the lighting is green, it feels like this wedding is a bad idea. You know? Who is going to die here? Anyways. But yeah, also it's a bit too late at this point, but you could have made each of those books a single shade of gray! Oh, thank you. Anyways, Katie, hello, welcome in. How are you doing? Why do I feel like he's got at least one book about Beatles? It just seems like the kind of thing he'd read. Oh, 100% he does. Definitely. He's got, like, some kind of, maybe one of those, like, oh, you know those, like, Birdwatcher's guidebooks? He's got one, but for Beatles and all of the different types of Beatles, and, like, here's what the markings look like, and here's, like, the noises they make if they make noises, and here's where they like to hang out, and what times, and all that kind of thing. I bet he does. That'd be super cute. The Matrix is very green, which makes sense, I guess, as mimicry. Yes, that is an excellent use of the color green in a film. Definitely. Because things should feel off and weird in the Matrix because it's the Matrix. Wow. It's like those people understood color in cinema. Who'd have thunk? I went to the, God, how old? I would have been like 15, I think, when The Matrix came out. I remember I went to see it with my friend Andrew, at our local, like, independent cinema in the center of town, and we had fun. That's my memory of The Matrix. But yes, the extended edition of Lord of the Rings. The extended edition is also color graded in a weird gray-green palette. Interesting. I don't remember that at all. I need to go back and look at that. Actually, it's as if I have like any qualifications to pass opinion on any of this stuff other than I've seen a lot of film and TV. But there was a while where I was like, I used to do a lot of like superhero fan art, and so I'd look up screen caps and stuff from like MCU films, and I remember just being like, oh my god, every single one of these films is so gray. Like, the color grading on all of them just at some point just became really flat and bland. And you don't necessarily super notice it when you're like you're sitting in a cinema watching a movie, but then when you actually like go through it like shot for shot, you're like, damn. Everything is so like washed out and dull. That's so boring. You work with colors, that's qualification enough. Oh my god, you're right. Maybe in the last like decade or so I've actually picked up some knowledge about color theory. Who'd have thunk? I mean, if anyone remembers the rant that I went on about Pantone picking their color of the year as being Landlord White, Jesus. That was a lot. More like color grading, says Kakalakola. More like color grading. Thank you, I appreciate that. But, yes. I think there was for a while an aversion to, at least in, like, big popcorn movie cinema, there was, like, an aversion to using big, bold colors, which was really weird. I think they've maybe kind of moved away from that. I don't know. I don't really go to the cinema very often anymore. Probably the last time I actually did go to the cinema was it last year that they re-released what's it in the cinema as like an anniversary? Oh shoot, which one? What's the name of it? My brain is supplying Return of the King, but that's because we were just talking about Lord of the Rings. But what I'm thinking of is Revenge of the Sith. That's it. The last movie I saw in the cinema. Wait, is it? Yes, that was the third one of the prequels, right? Was Revenge of the Sith? Am I going crazy? I can't remember. Oh god, I'm scared now. I have to look it up on my phone. Okay, I literally put Revenge of, and the phone said yes. Not even, I'm way more of a Trekkie than I am a Star Warsian, so I'm impressed that it managed to get to Revenge of the Sith from Revenge of. Because that could have been probably a lot of things. Menace, Attack, Revenge. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Tals. I feel a lot more sane now. But what an inspiring shade of off-white it was, says Tals. You could really tell by the name's sarcasm. Yeah. It was just, I mean, the thing is, and I didn't really understand what the purpose of Pantone's Color of the Year is until after I saw that announcement. Because it's not for people like us. It's not for artists. It's for companies. Companies that make products. It is forecasting that this is a color that's going to be popular, or a color that like the company that makes the overpriced reference books that you need in order to print colors, because they kind of have a monopoly on this. It is honestly effing annoying. Having had to interact with one of Pantone's like color guides once, I was like, okay, I would like to be able to refer to the color references in this guidebook in order to tell the printers what colors I want my enamel pin to be. And that thing is really expensive. That thing cost more than the print run would have done, and also more than I think I ever made back selling those pins. So, no. Anyways, I managed to find, like, an analogous, PDF that did basically the same thing, and I was just like, here's the guide I'm using. Just get close enough. I don't care. I can't... I'm just a baby and I don't make any money on this. I can't afford the freaking Pantone guide, okay? They make you spend a lot of money to have access to their guidebook of, sort of standard color references and whatever. And also, it's in, like, no useful order. It's the colors are all over the place. It's just like, how am I supposed to find the color I want if it's not, in order? Because it's not. Hated it. Anyways, but yeah, those colors are not really for your average just artist or schmo or whatever. They are for, like, companies that make products, and I feel like is it even relevant at this point? Because, like, other, like, paint manufacturers, like, companies that make, like, not like these, but, like, interior paint companies that make paints for, like, your walls and home and that kind of thing, are just coming up with their own colors and just completely ignoring what this one stupid company is saying are the colors of because who cares? So I know one paint company was like, this year's color was a green fairly similar to this one. And I was like, that's nice. Sure, why not? That's fine. I like that one. It's certainly a more pleasant experience than just the void. It's a nicer experience than the void. So I'll take it. But the political implications of having the color of the year be effectively, like, a white were not lost on me. There is a very deep and rich history of beigeness as, like, the politicalness of beigeness. Anyways. Katie says, you'd think the folks trying to be a color authority would know how to organize colors effectively. Yeah, they just, I don't know. They're doing their own thing, and it's terrible. Excuse me. Tal says, Void, Hollow Knight / Silksong referenced. Hell yeah. I'll drink to that. Also, because I've got hiccups. Which is really embarrassing. I'm gonna do the purple books now. But, yes. Anywho, I can't remember where I am in Silksong at this point. I think... Oh, no, I do remember where we are in Silksong. I was about to go into what I'm pretty sure is a boss fight, and I was like, there are several very difficult enemies that I have to fight just to get to the boss fight from this bench. But I think I can come at the fight from the other side of the room, which may have fewer enemies. So we are going to take a roundabout route from one side of the map to the other side of the map, and hope that I encounter fewer enemies on the way, so that I have a less likely to die during the run back to doing the boss fight that I'm on my way to doing. I am mega stuck on a boss fight, says Tals. Oh no, I'm assuming that you're probably farther along than I am, and therefore I've got something scary to look forward to. Also, I'm very sorry to hear that. I'm sure you can do it. I am 100% sure you can do it. And part of the reason that I'm sure you can do it is that I've had like multiple instances in this game where I have thought to myself, is this just where the journey ends for me? Is this where I get stuck? I spend like 6 hours of stream trying to get past this situation and eventually have to concede that I am not good enough to proceed. and that this is where my Silk Song streams will end, and I have to find something else to stream, and everyone's really disappointed and sad, and everyone unfollows, unsubscribes, and I never see any of you again, because I have proven to be a disappointment. So that's run through my head on a couple of occasions, and every single time I have just, with, dogged perseverance, just continued on as best as I can, and eventually figured out how to beat the thing. So, to that end, if I can do it, you can definitely do it, Tals. I believe in you. Tal says, I will try again. Good. That's so good to hear. I absolutely believe you can do it. These things are sometimes just real challenging. But I think someone asked me a little while ago. They said, I think they said, are you finding Silk Song difficult? And I said, and I hold to this, I'm finding it challenging. And that's kind of a different, I'm trying to employ a slight semantic difference between difficult and challenging there. Like, is it hard? Yes. But it's not like, oh, this is like, I feel like it's challenging me, but in ways that I feel like I know if I just keep doing it, I will eventually be able to do it. So there you go. Kakalakola says, and I believe in Sammy believing in Talos. Yay! We've got so many layers of belief going on here, which is really wonderful to see. So thank you for that. Okay, I'm just gonna do one of these bad boys. Doop, ba-doop. Okay. Doop, doop. I really like doing these teeny tiny book details. I find it very, very meditative, very satisfying, very pleasant to do. And trying to come up with the appearance of sort of a lot of different types of books.
Twitch user Sammy Kelsch.
Choppers.
Keep creating, Ripley. Hello, welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid, Ripley. Welcome. How was your stream? It's wonderful to see you. Welcome on in. Thank you so much for the raid. I very much appreciate it. Hello. And hello indeed to Melmix's Media. Hello, welcome in. Stray Dreams. Hello, Linny1980. And of course, the lovely Ripley. Thank you so much for the raid. Let me get a shout out for you in the chat. Hello, everyone. How was your stream? What did you get up to today? And welcome. Hello. Just shout out in the chat if you're not following Ripley. You can go do that right there. There's a link in the chat. Yada. That makes his media. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. Thank you. I very much do appreciate it. Welcome on in. Hello, everyone. If you're unfamiliar with me, hi. Stray Dreams, thank you much for the follow as well. Welcome on in. My name's Twitch user Sammy Kelsch. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and most Thursdays. I do cozy game streams on Fridays and every once in a while on a Thursday as well if I'm feeling extra crispy. This week is my 5-year stream anniversary, so we're doing some shenanigans later on this week. Today, we're mostly just painting and chatting. Liddy, thank you very much for the follow as well. Welcome. Ripley says, trying out markers for the first time. Ooh, that's very exciting. That's very fun. As always, we are an art tax haven here. We are an art tax optional channel. So if there is anything that you would love to share with the class, whether that's what you were working on today or like something on your socials or whatever, very, very happy to share a work safe link. If you would like, if you have anything you would like to whisper to me to share, that'd be super cool. However, if you just want to chill, if you just want to raid and run, if you want to go take a nap, or you just, do your post-stream decompression session, it's all good. So please don't feel any pressure to do so. But welcome on in regardless, and hello, everyone. Mel says, nice to meet you. This looks amazing. Oh, thank you very much. This is our very first artwork of a toad wizard. His name is Craig. And he is just having a chill time in his little wizard's cottage, and I am working on the contents of his bookshelves at the moment. We have concluded that somewhere in here he's got a full first edition set of the Twilight novels, and also a reference guidebook all about bugs, beetles in particular. So yeah, he's a cool dude. He's not the most confident of wizards, but he's working on it. And yeah, cool mola mola says Kakala Cola. Oh, thank you very much. Hang on, let me get you an egg fact here. Exclamation mark egg in the chat. Egg. Did you know that a sunfish can release up to 300 million eggs when it spawns? It's a lot of eggs. Anyways. That's super kind, says Ripley. We'll come and chill. Thank you very much indeed, and I hope you have a lovely chill time. Alcohol markers. That's really cool. I don't think I've ever used alcohol markers. That's rad, and thank you so much for the follow, Ripley. Thank you. Welcome on in. As for me, I'm a predominantly traditional artist working mostly in watercolor and other similar wet media. I will share with you a painting that I just posted to the Instagrams and my other socials, yada yada yada, in case you're curious as to what the heck my art looks like. Oh no, hold up. I broke the screen. Please work. Is it not? No, it's not working. Shoot. Heck, it always does this. This is so embarrassing. Let me fix it. Okay, there it is. This is my Instagram. Hello. I just wanted you to see. This is a painting that I did recently with the same palette of paints we're working with today. This is I took a representative rainbow of watercolors and added a not insignificant chunk of raw umber to each color as like the sort of mother color anchor of the palette to try and give it a very frog and toad-esque vibe. And we are painting a toad today, so, you know, it feels appropriate, I suppose. Anyways.
Attention.
Twitch
Hello?
user Sammy Kelsh.
Choppers.
Sammy Ann, hi! Welcome in. Hello. Thank you so much for the raid. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Welcome in, Lukia. Welcome in, Sammy Ann. Hello. It's wonderful to see you and welcome. How was your stream? What did you get up to today? As always, you know the deal. If there's anything that you would like to share, you can whisper a link in my direction as well. But hi. And for anyone who's just come in, hello. Sorry to anyone who's hearing this for the second time today. Hello, my name's Twitch user Sammy Kelsh. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and some Thursdays. Most Thursdays, in fact. I do cozy game streams on Friday mornings and every once in a while on a Thursday if I'm feeling a little spicy. This week is our 5-year stream anniversary. So I'm finishing up this painting today, and then we are getting up to some celebratory shenanigans later in the week. So you've got that to look forward to, I guess. Other than that, hi. I hope that your stream went well, Sammy, and it's lovely to see you as always, and welcome on in. Let me get a shout out for you as well. There we go. And if you're not following Sammy Ann, you should super do that because Sammy Ann is great and fun, and she does really, really lovely artwork as well. Sammy Ann says we were working on some sketchbook stuff, getting some headers and BRB screens done. Hell yeah! Nothing to share at the moment. That is quite all right. It's lovely to see you regardless. And hello. And a happy stream anniversary. Oh, thank you very much indeed. I can't believe I've been at this for 5 years. Can you believe to learn? Can you believe to learn? I can't believe to learn that. That's wild. That's crazy. What is time? We had to check up on Craig. Craig is doing pretty well. His books are coming into their own reasonably well, I hope. And other than that, that's kind of all we've done today. Believe to learn, my motto today. Thanks for that. Of course, I am very happy to be of service. And yeah, welcome in, friends. We did recently also have a raid from the lovely Ripley, so I will do a second shout out for them as well, because I can do 2 different flavors of shout outs. And for anyone who came in on Sammy Ann's raid, also go follow Ripley. Who has been experimenting with alcohol markers, which is very, very, very cool. Ta-da! Yeah, I can go follow Ripley as well. Everyone just go follow. Just go follow cool people. Anyways. But yeah, so we've been working on Craig and his bookshelf, and we've been talking about colors and color theory and probably other stuff. We were talking about spices earlier. It's been a day. Anyways, I know supposedly, scientifically speaking, today is like the most downer of a day of the year, and I really want to kind of just combat that by being a bit chill and having a nice time. We're just vibing today. We're just vibing and putting lines onto paper, and that's good. Mel says, bless you. I'd be so overwhelmed right now. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I live in a pretty heavy state of like regular experiences of overwhelm. So I feel like I don't know, managed to learn how to make it seem like I'm not overwhelmed as often as I am. I'm realizing something though. Do I want to? Yeah, I'm re-entering clown mode. So that's a thing. This was reindeer mode back in December, but now it's January, so it's just a clown nose. Honk, honk, honk. Anyways, Nelsa's couldn't relate more. Oh, Beans, I'm sorry. I'm sorry or yay. I don't remember. Anyways, yes. What's next? Blue! Blue is next. I am making my way through the rainbow in kind of a strange order, but whatever. This blue is fun because, well, I was making a very brown paint palette, so I didn't want the blue to kind of stand out as a strong blue. So I used ultramarine, which, man, the brown paint really just eats ultramarine, which is great. Where are you based? Hello from Wales, UK, says Mel. I am based in Oxfordshire. I am waving from just somewhat east of you, I guess. As you can tell by my accent, I'm a native Oxonian. I am very much not. But it's where I live. But hi. Please give my love to Wales. I love Wales. It's pretty. Dan says, Sammy's in clown mode. Don't shake her hand. Sniffer daffodil. I mean, you never should do either of those things without permission first anyways, because I'm skittish. But you don't want to accidentally I don't know, get whatever clowns do. I think my brain has just officially melted out my ears. I have lost the ability to form coherent sentences for the day, but I'm going to soldier on as best as I can. And try my best in so doing, and hope it's good enough. Anywho. Craig is trying his best, and I think he's doing an amazing job. Mel says, oh no, what if I do? Oh no. I can't, I really can't say, I don't know. Anyways. Oh, that was the thing that happened to me within the last week. I've seen my first snowdrops of the year, so that was exciting. Though I always worry about seeing... I know that they're literally like the first flowers to pop up in the as we coast toward the end of winter, but I always get a little bit nervous when I see snowdrops popping up in the ground and crocuses and that kind of thing. So I'm just like, you guys are doing amazing, but what if there's like a really late frost and it just kills all of the lovely little flowers, you know? I get so scared for them that they've been lulled into a false sense of security by a little blast of like, you know, sort of the temperature going up, but then it's going to go way back down again. And I'm like, oh no, I hope they're going to be okay. And I always get so nervous. I worry about those little buddies, you know what I mean? But with that being said, I've also been hearing a lot of bird song in my neighborhood, and that has been delightful. I saw a couple of pied wagtails the other day. That was exciting, because I am a wagtail enjoyer. As well as, I think it's hard to tell because I was quite a distance from them, but possibly a couple of gold crests also. Gold crests are tiny. They're so tittle. They're so cute. And I've wanted to paint some gold crests for a while. So that's on my list of birds I need to paint once I finish painting just the massive short list of robin species that I need to paint. And I will be painting as many of those as I can. So I hope y'all want to see more bird paintings from me, because I hate to say it, but you're gonna. Because at some point in my streaming career, I made the incredibly crazy and wild decision to become a person who's over 40. And as a person who's over 40, I can't help it. A switch flipped in my brain at some point in my mid-30s, and I got really interested in birds. And so we're here now, and you're gonna have to, like, look at them. Dallas's gold crests are so hard to spot. Seems like they're always tucked deep inside the foliage. Oh, absolutely. And understandably so. They're very tiny little vulnerable creatures. The first one I ever saw in this country, I think I'd been living in this country for about 10 years before seeing a gold crest for the first time. And it was on a tree near Waitrose, of all places. So, yeah. But I was very, very happy to see them. And the sightings are rare, but absolutely joyous. We do see quite a few, like, tits in our neighborhood as well. The bird species, the species of birds, blue tits, great tits, coal tits. Just for clarity, I don't want to get in trouble with the TOS for saying something that sounds like I'm talking about something other than a bird. I'm talking about birds. Anyways, my favorite, I don't want to have to pick a favorite, but if I had to pick a favorite, it'd be coal tits. I just think they're adorable. Anyways, haven't seen any boobies in the neighborhood, that being said, Dan. I have seen no boobies in the neighborhood, but I feel like in a landlocked county, that's less likely. They just feel like they want to be somewhere, not so much this area. Waitrose is the new spot for bird watching, says Ripley. I mean, apparently so. If there's a lot of foliage near your Waitrose, you might be in luck. Anyways, maybe they're scrounging for, like, little snacks, like things that get tossed into the bins out back. It's like, ooh, some yummy little seeds, yum yum. Kakalakola says, a switch flipped in my brain when I hit 40 many, many years ago, and I was suddenly interested in baking bread. Fair enough. Good thing you don't live in South Africa. Imagine having to talk about dick dicks. I'm sorry for doing a giggle. All of these creatures with just the most delightful of names. That's a creature I've never painted either, actually. Maybe I should. I'm really just what's the word I'm looking for? Playing with danger with regard to the TOS and the names of creatures that I might paint. Oh dear. Anyways. I do apologize. We are an adult stream for grown-ups here. And things do, despite my best efforts, occasionally get a little bit not mega family unfriendly by any stretch, but sometimes we do talk about types of birds or animals that sound like they have rude names. But yeah, also, if we probably, I realize I just did it, but I don't encourage chat to talk about their ages too much, because, well, sometimes someone just lets everybody know that they're underage, and then I have to ban them. Because that's an unsafe thing to do. You never know who's lurking, and I'd like to keep y'all safe, so, anyways. Sammy After Dark says, oh, jeez. I mean, the sun's gone down, so technically that's true no matter what. This time of day, at this time of year, at this latitude. Technically we are after dark, because I think the sun went down at like 4:30. The most. Kakalakolis is an artist I follow on Twitch, is planning to do an art stream dedicated to birds, boobs, tits, and honkers. I mean, fair enough. The sun's always down in some part of the world. This is also very true. Scientifically speaking, we are on, a round celestial object that turns. The world is a ball. And someday, someone in space with a giant baseball bat is gonna take a crack at it and knock us way out into the outfield. That's paraphrasing a quote from William S. Burroughs, of course. I think, anyways. uh, any hoosins. These are books. I don't think any of these books are by William S. Burroughs. I don't think that Craig the Toad Wizard is a big fan of William S. Burroughs. What a strange man he was. I did read some of his books back in the day. Back in the day, I mean when I was a pretentious like secondary school student. Those were I was gonna say those were the days, but those were some days, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they were good. They were just a different chapter of life, you know. Anyways, what am I reading these days? I'm gonna have to do some looking at the cut of women's clothes and also the cut of men's clothes by Nora Waugh in order to do a bit of pattern drafting for my next sewing projects, I think. If that counts as what I'm reading. No, not the baseball giant, says Dan. Hey, you know, like, yeah. Existential dread has entered the chat, says Mel. I'm so sorry. This is supposed to be a cozy stream, but I don't know. My filter is bad when I'm streaming sometimes. I'm sorry. Anyways. But if anyone's curious as to what my next sewing project's going to be, I did show off my most recently completed project, which I finished on Saturday. Here's some fabric you can look at. I am so pumped about these fabrics. This is technically a bed sheet, but it is in this, the camera really isn't doing justice to the color, but this is actually a really beautiful, super deep, like, spruce green. So it's like a slightly bluish green, and it's really, really dark, and it's a super soft linen. And again, this is a duvet cover, so I'm gonna have to do some surgery in order to use it as a length of fabric. But it was on clearance sale. I think this color may be discontinued, but it was exactly the color of linen I needed for this project, so or close enough, so I'm very happy with that. And then I've also got this fabric is going to be the lining, and this is a color called calamine, I think. This is calamine linen. It's very nice, soft, sort of fairly lightweight linen. So soft, oh my god. Anyways, this is the lining fabric. I think it's going to be really pretty. And this whole doodad is going to comprise an 18th century style wrapping gown. It is a pattern that I've made once before out of a very different fabric. The first one that I did was actually made out of like a sort of an almost quilted fabric, so it's like quite cozy and toasty and warm, and then was just lined in like a sort of neutral colored linen. But that's really more of a cold weather item. I wanted one that I could wear in like the warm weather as well, so just two layers of a nice sort of fairly fine soft linen I think will work really well. It looked like pearly and green, says Cursed Jar of Bees. You know what? Not far off. Yeah. I think eventually the camera kind of managed to sort of capture it maybe a little bit. This camera's always, this one of the things that I find is a real struggle with streaming traditional art is getting the camera to actually display colors the way that they look IRL, because sometimes it's pretty okay, like it's pretty bang on with the colors in this painting, and then other times it'll be like, okay, look at this red, and it's just like it doesn't know what to do with it. It's so frustrating. But yeah, I will just, you know what, because I want to show off, I still don't have like a proper photo of it or anything yet, but again, here's the selfie mode of the shirt that I sewed, that I finished sewing on the weekend. I look like a big dork, but you can see that the shirt fits. And I'm really embarrassed because, it's my face, ew. But also I was just really stoked about the fact that the shirt was done. And I'm very happy with the way that it turned out. So, hell yeah to me. Yay. And I had a really good time making it as well. I did, not to spoil or anything, but I did at one point have to, like, unpick, a bit, like a section of it, and then sort of adjust it and then redo it. But sometimes sometimes it'd be like that, you know what I mean? Like hand sewing things and sewing things like for yourself and sewing things with a very vague pattern. And the patterning on these is indeed quite vague. Like shirt is just rectangles. Does sometimes mean that you you will end up trying it on, finding that like, oh, this isn't quite fit in the way I was expecting it to fit, and then having to redo it, which is a bit of a pain in the backside, but so it goes. There we go. Okay. I think I missed adding some detail to a couple of the blue ones, so I'll do that belatedly because I'm a silly sausage. And then we can move on to the other parts of the painting. Hooray! I want one, says Mel. I mean, if you want to DIY it, it'll take you a lot less time if you use a machine. If you want one made, there are definitely places where you can get a similar type shirt. It's just like a sort of standard pattern 18th century, early 18th century men's shirt. I will not be selling shirts because this took me about 3 months and however many hours 2 seasons of Star Trek Deep Space Nine is to sew. That's roughly the speed at which I'm able to hand sew. So, yeah, it would be financially untenable for me to, like, sell shirts. But I will be hopefully posting, like, a project diary about the making of this shirt to my YouTube channel at some point in the near future. My YouTube channel is a mess genre-wise. I just do whatever. Usually to do with some manner of history, but I've done food history and I will be doing food history again, but also other types of stuff, like I've done like soap, also the history of a couple of local coffee shops that are local to me, and other things. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. There will be more going on there. There's a piece that I've wanted to make as a video for a really, really long time that is about a very specific type font that's used in a very specific public transit system. And I don't know if anyone but me is going to be interested in that video, but hopefully I'll be able to finish that soon. There's also a video that I've been working on for a very, very long time that's about a very specific bread bun, which for probably predictable reasons I've had a hard time just completing. Because weirdly, recreating a recipe that involves mostly wheat flour when it turns out you can't eat wheat anymore is a challenge. That's going to be an interesting one to get done, but I will finish it. But yeah, right now I'm working on the project diary for this shirt. Hopefully I'll be able to sort of come out with it at some point fairly soon. And also a video about specifically cream, like the dairy product. This video is going to be stupid. But I hope people find it interesting. Anyways, so that's what I'm up to. I have no sewing knowledge, says Mel. Fair enough. I mean, if it's something you're interested in acquiring, I recommend it. It's fun. If it's not, good news. You can just purchase things that other people have sewn. Anyways. Bees says the beauty of sewing for cats is they don't care if it's perfect. Hell yeah. I've got a couple of I don't have any cats, but I was actually saying to someone recently that I do have these 2 little guys who hang out in the sewing supplies section of the studio here. Hold, please. Hold, please. Oh no. I've upset the pile. Now I think everything's gonna collapse, but I had to get my little sewing studio guardians. I mean, it makes sense because this guy's just a tailor, so he knows a lot about sewing, and also his boyfriend is here. These guys come from Star Trek. So they've been watching Star Trek with me while I sew, and they're in love. I'm gonna leave them over here to like make out or whatever. Whatever they get up to. Anyways, obviously I'm gonna need to use some of my offcuts of fabric to make tiny outfits for them because it's me and I'm whimsical. Anyways, Tal says, I know not to stick myself with the pointy end, although I often fail to implement that knowledge successfully. Listen, the number of times I have stabbed myself in the fingertips it's a number. If I had a pound for every time I've stabbed myself in the fingertip working on this most recent sewing project, I'd probably have enough to buy like half a grocery shop from Waitrose. So Bees says, I accidentally knit a hat for my cat when I was learning to knit and about tension. Oh, that's adorable though. That's really sweet. Mel says the toys I'm making will inevitably end up being ripped up by my kittens anyway, so I'm not too worried. You know what? That works. That also works. And I'm sure the cats will love and appreciate tearing them to bits no matter what. So, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Make things for the people who will appreciate the things that you make. In my case, that's make art for... I don't know who the audience is for any of this stuff, but I'm gonna keep doing it anyways. Hopefully it's some of you guys. I don't know. Anywho. Yeah, that's the thing. Excuse me. Shall I do some of these other backgroundy elements, like these little jars and stacks of papers and scrolls and what have you? Probably need some line weight and the little Venus. Oh, I could do the little Venus flytrap first. Oh, incidentally, this was determined off stream. But in case anyone's curious, this little plant up here, she has a name, and her name is Mavis. This is an important detail. This is Craig's plant friend Mavis, and he's very fond of her. She is a very good friend to Craig. Tal says, literally actively being the audience for Sammy art. Hi, thank you so much for being part of the audience. I appreciate it. It's nice having one. Mel says, what a cutie. Oh, thank you. I'm trying my best. I can't remember why I decided to put a little Venus flytrap on the shelf here, but I'm glad that I did, because I think she's pretty stinking cute. Come on, brush, please cooperate. Thank you. The brush did not want to cooperate there for a second, but we got there. Okay. Yay! Okay, hopefully she's cute. She is, how shall I say, friend-shaped. She is a friend-shaped plant. And I like her very much. And so does Craig. And if Terry were ever invited over to Craig's house for a nice cup of tea, I'm sure that he would really like Mavis too. I'm sure they would get on very, very well. Famously, in fact. I think that would be real stinking cute. Anyways, I think I need some browns. I need some browns now to do some lines on things that are brown. I need to do some lineage for, I'm actually going to mix a little bit of black into the brown just because I can. Some lineage on Craig's little, like, satchel situation here. And also the base of his ponderous orb. Oh, Mel says, I'm glad Ripley rated This Is My Kind of Stream. I'm so glad you're here, and thank you so much for hanging out. I'm always glad to provide, hopefully, a cozy place to land for raiders. And it's nice when people stick around. But yes, I determined when we were trying to figure out what to put on the shelves here, I determined that Craig, the Toad Wizard, absolutely needs like an orb to ponder. So I gave him a nice little pondering orb, which currently looks like a pondering blob, but it will look properly orby, hopefully by the time we're done. I hope anyways. Oh geez. Oh geez, he's also got a little jar of probably, I mean, it looks like it could be soil, but I'm imagining it's probably like loose tea leaves or maybe some coffee grounds or coffee beans or something like that, rather than just being, you know, soil. Though, you know, if the soil is an important spell component, he might have, or like a potion ingredient or something like that, he might have some soil around just in case he needs it. I think ads are gonna run fairly shortly. I think I just had the ads pop up running, so therefore I'm going to disappear for a few minutes. A couple of shines on that bad boy, and he'll be orbing it up big time. It'll be so shiny and super orbular. But before we do that, I have to take a break because I don't want you guys to miss anything just because ads are running. I can't not have ads running, so I might as well take this as an opportunity for everybody to have a little break and no one misses anything, which I think is nice. So I'll be back really shortly. Have a drink, have a stretch, take your meds if you need to. I'll see you on the other side. BRB, everyone. Yay, the ads are done. Welcome back, everybody. I hope that you had a pleasant break, and I hope you're happy to be back. I'm happy to be back, and it's nice to see y'all. Also, hello, welcome back, and hi. I'm gonna need some more paint. Also, I'm really cold in here all of a sudden. I'm gonna stick the thermostat on real quick. One moment, please. Anyways, what's for dinner, chat? I'm making a Hungarian bean soup. It's called bobleves. It's called bobleves because bob means bean and leves means soup. So, literally called bean soup. Happy to be back. I figured you're more of a Mozart fan. Oh! Actually, Schubert. Probably, yeah, Schubert. Yeah, if I Schubert, yep. Anyways, I mean, we're spanning centuries here, but probably also Sibelius. Listening to quite a bit of specifically this one piece by Sibelius quite a lot in the last like year or so, but I am an enjoyer of some of that Finnish man's oeuvre. Did I ever tell you all about the time that I don't really go out to live stuff super often. I used to go to gigs more often than I did, but I wanted to go to like, you know, a fancy classical music gig, but I didn't want to go alone, so I brought a friend. And went to see a performance of Assorted Works by Sibelius, and I had the loveliest time. It was so good, and I had a nice time. We went out for sushi before. It was really good. Anyways, and then my friend was like, I was like, so did you enjoy the show? And he was like, yeah, to be honest, the music was kind of boring, but otherwise it was fun. And I was like, the music was kind of boring. Bruh. You could have just told me this is the genre of music you enjoy, and I could have brought someone who would have liked it better, or gone by myself. I spent, like, I was in my 20s, so I probably spent, like, 30 quid on those tickets, and, like, each. And my buddy is like, the music was kind of boring. Well, fiddlesticks. I was so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. Isn't coffee technically bean soup? Is a bowl of cereal with milk soup? Genuine question. I don't want to derail the chat into into that whole question again. But then that's the thing. Culinary categories mean something. Context. You know? Connotations beyond technicalities. That sounds like the pretentious tagline of like an automotive company or something like that. Connotations beyond technicalities. Saab. I picked Saab because they no longer exist. I used to know someone who drove like Saab cars for their entire driving life, and then they stopped making them, and they're like, what am I gonna... Oh no, what am I going to do? I'm using that accent because I'm pretty sure they were teaching at Cambridge at the time, so they're fancy. I hope that man as well. I haven't heard from him in a really long time. Possibly because I work at Oxford, and that's very far away from Cambridge. And also, I don't know, I'm pretty sure we're supposed to hate each other or something. I don't really know how that works. But I do live in Oxford. So here we are. Anyways. I'm pretty sure that the coffee... So we call it a coffee bean, but technically it's a seed. It comes in... It lives inside a cherry... Or, like, what we call the coffee cherry, which is a type of berry, and then on the inside is a seed. And that's the coffee bean. That is... The pulp of the fruit is removed from it. Well, sometimes it's fermented and then the pulp is removed, and sometimes the pulp is removed and then it's fermented. And then sometimes the pulp is removed, but not the sort of, like, mucilaginous inner layer that surrounds the seed. And that's kind of an intermediary between the two different sort of main processes that is a thing in itself. Which all yield different flavor types in your resulting cup of coffee. Anyways, I would make a video talking all about this kind of aspect of coffee, but I feel like there are other people who are already doing it much better than me. If you want to get really granular into, like, the science of coffee brewing and that kind of thing, I recommend James Hoffman's channel. If you want to know how to make a lot of really interesting different coffee drinks, pairing different flavors with coffees and brewing in different ways and doing that kind of thing, I recommend Morgan Eckroth's channel. They are also very good, and fun, and always wearing a black turtleneck, which is such a solid style choice, and I respect it. Kakalakola says, could be worse. My sister's friend had a seat behind a super enthusiastic connoisseur. A good portion of their experience consisted of having to listen to the dude in front of them whoop and holler whenever the performer did something. Oh my god. It's the worst. People who will not stop making it about themselves when you're trying to watch a performance. Now, I understand, like, there are some concerts at, like, live music situations where, like, everyone in the crowd is singing along. That's, like, a vibe. That's an experience. That's, like, a collective joy. But then there's, like, the one person standing right next to you and trying to harmonize but doing a terrible job when no one else is singing along. And or you are here because you sincerely really, really freaking love this band, and then you're standing next to two guys with two beers who are clearly just come to this bar no matter what band is playing every week, and they're just standing there chatting about their jobs or whatever, and you just want them to shut the front door so bad because you actually like this band and want to hear the band playing, and they're just like, yeah, no, I'm trying a different IPA this week. It's got some interesting hoppy notes that I think are really nice. Shut up. Stop talking. I would like to listen to the band. What is wrong with you? Anyways, getting to the granularities of coffee brewing. Yeah. Anyways. I don't go to gigs very often anymore because I'm tired and shy. I feel like I'm sleeping on, like, discovering new music lately. I've been listening to a lot of really old music that, and when I say old music, I mean old music that I liked in my youth. Like, you know, hey, is this band I listened to in the 90s still good? That kind of thing. Which doesn't feel like it should be old music because the 90s was 5 years ago. Shut up. What was I gonna say? I feel like I'm not discovering enough new music lately. I feel like I've lost the mechanism to discover new music, because previously, a lot of my new music discovery tools was effectively listening to music that other musicians I know, like, locally, like musicians I know personally, listen to. But a lot of the musicians I know personally aren't posting enough on social media and aren't posting enough on their social medias about other bands that they know and like. And so my, like, discovery pipeline has dried up, and I'm like, nah, guys, you gotta get back on your, like, listen, I know the internet is a cesspit, but you gotta get back on your socials and wreck me some stuff, because my playlists are getting stale, y'all. Help! Maybe it's almost as if being an independent musician is not a financially stable proposition for a lot of people compared to maybe a few years ago, and a lot of the, like, bands and artists that I know and follow aren't as active, like, musically right now because they have to have normal jobs. What if? Ah! Anyways, the new music I'm discovering are still, like, old music from the 90s and 2000s. And I mean, hey, if it's new to you, then it's still a new discovery, and that's really exciting. Kakalakola says, parts of my brain still filed 90s music is, like, still contemporary, right? Yeah, exactly. It's weird. It's weird to me, because the 90s is, like, simultaneously a really, really long time ago to me. Like, when I look at things and hear things, like, aesthetically and stuff, I'm like, that's a really long time ago. When I think back to, like, my personal history in the 90s, I'm like, that is basically another chapter of a different lifetime compared to where I am now. And yet, on the other hand, I'm like, but it was, like, 5 minutes ago, right? Anyways, Alclo says, the last album I put on my wish list is from 1976. I found it through a YouTube reaction video. It's Boston by Boston. Ah, sweet! Nice! I hope you enjoy it. That's rad. And also, genuinely, discovering older music for the first time is so exciting and so fun. Yeah. There are some albums and stuff that sort of, like, will pop up in my way. Oh, what was one that I started listening to last year, and I was like, oh, I love this. This is so good. It was, I think it's from, like, either the late 60s or early 70s, an album by a lady named Vashti Bunyan, who, it's very soft and very folksy, and I think she put out, like, one album. It didn't do super great commercially, and she just kind of went away, got a normal job, you know, got married, had kids, yada, yada, yada. And then back in, like, the early 2000s, I think, like, her first album was sort of, like, discovered by some, like, folk musicians of the time being like, who is this artist? This is really good. Where did they go? And then somebody like Devendra Banhart, like, tried to get in contact with her to see if she was still around and kicking and making music. And she's like, oh, I haven't made music in years. And he was like, you should make a record. Like, why not? You're just, like, being a grandma now. Why not make a record? And so she started making records again, which I think is really delightful. And I think she's still at it at this point, I believe. So, hell yeah, and good for her. Anyways, Kakalakola says, to this day, I feel a little disappointed that Boston never released an album called Cream Pie. It was right there. It was right there. Why would they not do that? Anyways, okay. I want to apologize to any Massachusetts in the chat before I say this, because now obviously I am a Canadian and therefore I do have a little bit of bias in this game. I got a little skin in the game, admittedly. You know, I have a little bit of a personal bias. That being said, I've been living in the UK for many, many a year at this point, and I did go to Boston a few years ago. I visited some Dunkin' Donuts. I had a pleasant time. I had a nice cup of coffee, and I will say, I think they had, like, a cronut on the menu at the time, and that was delightful. I enjoyed the cronut, but with that being said, I was like, I can't leave Boston without having a Boston cream donut from Dunkin' Donuts, because Massachusetts is the land of Dunkin' Donuts, and though I think they've shortened their name to Dunkin' because they're kind of leaning more into, like, come have coffee here, in the last some odd years. But anyways, but they as far as I know, at least that back then they did have donuts, and I got a Boston cream donut because I was like, this has to be good, right? It's Boston. This is the donut that comes from here, and it is a donut filled with custard with chocolate glaze on the top. That is my bag. That is my favorite donut type. If I had to choose one, this is the one. It wasn't as good as a Tim Hortons donut. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Timmy's doing better. I'm sorry. That being said, I got punished karmically by this for some years after that. I developed an intolerance to wheat. But with that being said, I have subsequently had a Boston cream donut because there was a place in London that does them, and they do them with gluten-free oat flour, and they're really nice. So yay for me. That being said, I have to go all the way to London, which is a distance and an expense, and the donuts are not cheap. But, you know, sometimes she's worth it. Oh, also, the donut shop is in Selfridge's food hall, so you have to go through Selfridge's to buy the donuts, which is its own, you know, if you're not familiar, Selfridge's is a reasonably high-end, I would say, department store. I don't know. I don't think I've ever purchased anything from Selfridge's other than food. I pass through all of, like, the expensive perfumes and just make a beeline to the food hall because that's all I'm interested in from Selfridge's. It's just like, you know, do I need like an overpriced like acrylic jumper? No, I do not. But what I do need is a donut. You know, it's only Boston cream if it comes from Boston, says Coca-Cola. Otherwise, it's just sparkling donut. You're right. You're so right, and you should say it. And thank you so much for pointing this out because we need to be respectful of that. And I'm so sorry. I'm taking accountability, and I do apologize for my oversight. So thank you very much for the reminder. I'm sipping that tea. I'm also going to sip this tea. This tea is stone cold now, so, like, I'm going to be real with you. Black tea with milk that's stone cold, not for me. Mint tea with nothing that's stone cold, refreshing. It's like drinking unsweetened toothpaste. There is actually a tea that you can get that's called spearmint toothpaste flavor, and I'm like, I don't think I want that. I don't think that sounds good, actually. Like, why would I want that? Why would I want that? I don't think that sounds good. I don't want to drink. I mean, I was being facetious. This doesn't taste like toothpaste. I don't think I would want to be drinking it if it tasted like toothpaste. That doesn't sound delicious to me. Toothpaste is an adequate flavor when I'm cleaning my teeth. I don't really want to taste it at other times necessarily. Some people like their mint strong, says Coca-Cola. That is true. That is true. You are correct about that. I'm gonna paint in these little potion bottles at the back here, I think. Next. Okay. I also debated whether or not there should be a bit of a slight tint to the glass. And I'm still kind of wondering about that, if I want to just add a slight tint to the glass of these little potion bottles. You know, I think I might do that. But just a very slight tint. Very slight. Anyways, this is quite a dark green. I think that's is that great? Maybe a green plus blue or green plus black. I can't remember what I used to get that color. You expect me to remember things from like last Thursday? Forget it. Like, do I remember what colors I mixed together to get Craig's skin tone? Maybe. I think I used green, black, and maybe a little bit of brown, but I do not remember in what proportions. Also, can we please just get some appreciation for Craig's little toad freckles? Because that is obviously the difference between frogs and toads is scientifically vibes, aesthetically bumps. As a general rule, frog smooth, toad bumpy. But scientifically speaking, it's kind of just vibes, which I think is neat. Anyways. Okay. I'm gonna just paint in. I realize this is not how things look in real life, but I like kind of making the color of whatever's behind, like a glass jar or a glass something, a little bit lighter than the surrounding area, so it feels like you're looking through something to see it. I'm watching this in glorious 160p. I just see colorful blobs. Oh, jeez. Is everyone seeing this in 160p? Because it should be, like, this is a high definition camera. You should be seeing it in, I don't actually know what it's broadcasting in, but it should be broadcasting in, like, it should be broadcasting in a reasonable number of p, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, it says that the source is 576p, which makes no bloody sense because that isn't a standard p number. What? Like, what? Why does it say this 576p is not... it should be like 720, I think. That's so weird. What the hell is going on? Anyways, I have all sorts of pieces, tells. Okay, fantastic. I'm glad. Katie says I'm good. Good. Drawing is out of focus right now. Ah, shoot. How are we? How are we doing? Sometimes the camera annoyingly has this stupid autofocus that doesn't always know what to do, but it is better, I think, nominally than the old camera? Question mark. The stream is broadcasting in 576p. I have to watch at 160p on account of bad internet. I see. 720 by 576 is standard definition. So why is it saying 576 instead of 720? Because normally it would, because it should be 720p, I believe. But normally it would therefore tell me that it's broadcasting in 720p. Because that's the standard nomenclature for it, at least with regard to places where I broadcast and watch stuff. So, you can't see my face, but my face is deeply confused right now. I'm so confused. Twitch, why are you like this? What are you doing? It's always the height, says Kakalico. What? What? No. No. Ah. Sorry, I have blue screened. I'm actually so hard that I don't want to post this VOD. Why have I never heard of this number before? What's happening? Also, why is the screen so small? My camera is a much higher amount than that. Twitch. Okay, I'm gonna curl up and cry now. But before I do that, we're gonna paint a little bit more, I guess. Hey, what's everybody else having for dinner? I'm gonna make soup. I understand soup. I'm very intelligent. Tal says it looks fine. Okay, thank you, my friend. That's very reassuring. I'm gonna do a little bit more painting in. Might be your broadcast software. Oh, who knows? Whom's to say? I had to change streaming software a little while back, and trying to claw the settings into place was, frankly, nothing short of a nightmare. Because I ran an update on my old streaming software, and it just fully borked the stream, and I just wasn't able to stream properly for like a week. Like, I tried, I changed settings, I uninstalled, reinstalled, yada yada yada. It was just like, nope, your stream is just gonna be effed, and I couldn't do it. And I cried a lot. And then I was just like, okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna download a different streaming software and use a different streaming software, and then everything was totally normal and fine again. So there. So yeah. Anyways. I am just adding in little outlines of my little corks on my little potion bottles. Hooray. Deliciousness. Ooh, cream of chicken, says Coca-Cola. Delicious. Kids menu. A variant of kids menu, says Tals. I love a kids menu dinner, as you well know. It's a nice easy thing for me to cook after streams as well. So I do make a lot of kids menu. I've got some veggie nuggies in the freezer. I'm looking forward to having a veggie nuggie meal. I'm gonna try and strong arm my moderator / spouse into letting us get some sweet potato fries, because I really fancy sweet potato fries, because they're really delicious. Are they somewhat unhealthy? Also, yes. Also, sometimes they coat them in wheat starch, which means I can't eat them. But I had plans, but then it was Monday. Tals, that is so valid of you. So I believe there is one weird resolution that corresponds to the standard size of the Twitch player when it is on a 1080p screen, but not in full screen mode. Not sure if that's a myth, though. It might be that. That might be why I get weird number. It might be that. Thank you. Because I've seen a lot of weird numbers show up watching Twitch streams, and I'm like, this isn't a standard resolution number. Why is this? What's happening? So that's probably why. Thank you. My ability to breathe has been compromised for the last few days. It's not too bad today, though, at least. But today I did discover, I don't know if y'all know, but I've been having dentistry issues for months now. I'm nearly at the end of it, and I'm so glad. And as soon as that's done, I get to once again drop even more money on my citizenship application, which I'm really scared about, because I'm specifically scared about my citizenship application because I have to ask 2 people I know to act as referees for me, and that's frankly terrifying. Cackalico is lurking. Have a lovely lurk. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, that is a terrifying prospect for me. Asking a friend or acquaintance to be like, hey, can you vouch for my citizenship application? That sounds so scary. That sounds so scary. And I would like to offer them something in return. Be like, let me at least, like, buy you something nice or do something nice for you in return. But then I don't know if that would be construed as, like, a bribe. But that's just because I'm nice and they're taking time out of their day to, like, vouch for the fact that I am an upstanding citizen that they know. Just the sheer amount of social anxiety that is radiating off of me just thinking about this is, I gotta shake it out. I'm shaking. I'm flapping my hands now to try and shake it out. I will flap on screen so you can see how I'm feeling about having to do that soon. I don't like it. Anyways, yeah, stuff of nightmares basically. But in addition to that, the other thing that I wanted to highlight, because I always forget to do this stream has been brought to you by me. I have a shop. No pressure, obviously, but if you do like the things that I do and you want to own some of your own, that is something you can do via the link in chat right there. And you can get various things that I make, including stickers and bookmarks and art prints, and they're very silly. If you like the kinds of things that I make on stream art-wise, you'll probably like some of these, including art to do with, like, Hollow Knight and Silksong, because those are video games that we like. Those are all limited edition. And also occasionally a stupid little scribbly doodle of Star Trek fan art that I made extra stickers of because I just wanted one for myself, and the printers sent me like 8 of them. But yeah, this is and also there's a lot of birds, cryptids, little creatures, gay people, that kind of thing. Anyways, I hope you like it, and if you don't, you can keep that to yourself, that's fine. But also, I don't expect everyone to like the things that I do, because humanity is not a monolith, and how boring it would be if we were. So, honestly, I'm cool with that. But yeah, anyways. Speaking of, I experienced the do not allow the numbers that your art does on social media to dictate how you feel about yourself and your work once again, in as much as I recently shared a piece of artwork that I did a little while back on all of my socials, my Blue Sky, my Instagram, my Mastodon, any others. I'm on Kara as well. All of the same username, which is just my name. But I had the experience of posting it to Blue Sky and posting it to Instagram and Mastodon, yada yada yada, and seeing the way that the numbies are completely different. I think I have roughly the same number of followers on Blue Sky as I do on Instagram. Instagram, it got 10 likes. Which, you know, it's great. 10 people liked it. That's fantastic. Blue Sky, it got like 10 times that, I think. And that's honestly pretty par for the course a lot of the time in my experience. It's not that if I was only posting things to Instagram, I would just be thinking to myself like, wow, I guess I'm not that good yet. I guess my work is just really struggling to find an audience because I'm not very good. I guess the people who are already following me have assessed that my artwork is bad, and no one else is showing interest in it. Strangers do not want to engage with this. They think it's garbage. It must be objectively poor. I'm doing a terrible job. Which are stupid things to think. Which are stupid and bad things to think. But that's what your brain goes through as an artist. You know, imposter syndrome is very real. Are you even good enough to have imposter syndrome? I don't think I am. But also, I know that, like, hey, this thing that I posted on Instagram got 10 likes. It got 150 likes on Mastodon. So which one of these is an accurate barometer of my skill and appeal as an artist? How am I supposed to determine whether or not, the world needs my art? I don't know. And the answer is obviously to not look at numbers and metrics and any of that stuff ever at all. But man, they really want you to. They really, really want you to. Even though it doesn't mean squat. And it's all stupid. It's all stupid and it doesn't mean squat. Anyways, posting art to the vagaries of social media is a terrifying prospect, says Tals. I know, and it's one that I face on the regular, and the number of times that I just honestly descend into spiraling sad thoughts of feeling bad about myself hours because I'm going to sleep and something I posted to Instagram has had 2 likes and no one's seen it. And I have to remind myself that this is a garbage platform and has apparently decided that no one is allowed to see or like my work. And it is just a massive cesspit of compare yourself to others disease, because I see my peers doing significantly greater numbies than me a lot of the time, and I'm like, I love them very much and I don't want to like compare myself to them, but why am I not as good as they are? I don't know. And then sometimes I'll see other peers that are doing like, significantly fewer numbers than me, and I'm like, but their work is amazing. Why is it not being recognized? I do not understand, and this is an injustice, and I'm mad about it. Because it's all a load of nonsense, and Instagram is trash. Anyways, Sammy, where's Craig's reflection? His reflection in what? His reflection in what? I don't know. Anyways, Mr. Tom, hi, welcome in. Hello, hello. Insta doesn't do shit for me compared to TikTok and YouTube. I just think Instagram is just kind of a garbage fire now. I still go there to be inspired by other people's artwork because I follow a lot of artists on Instagram. I'm really struggling to find other artists on Blue Sky that I would like to see. That like most of my Blue Sky feed is political stuff, that a lot of which I try to filter out because I get overwhelmed really quickly. I want to be engaged, I want to be a good citizen, but also I can't do everything all at once, and I have to kind of pick my battles a little bit, you know what I mean? And I feel really guilty about it. Good lord, I feel guilty about having to mute words on Blue Sky, and it's still just a lot of political stuff, and I understand why, but like, it gets overwhelming. So I'm not seeing enough artwork. I don't know if it's just that people are posting not as much artwork, but I'm not seeing enough artwork. Anyways, if you're an artist and you're on Blue Sky and we're not friends yet, please hit me up because I want to follow you. Anyways, Dan says I like Instagram, but then I don't post often at all. I'm just a lurker, and that is totally fair. Also, I don't post often on Instagram. I just do, and then no one sees it because their algorithm is crap and hates me. Anyways. Same, says Chenga. Hello, welcome in. It's lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. I hope you are well. And hi. We're probably actually not going to be going on too much longer. I'm sorry to have like a moan about social media, but it really is just a pain in the backside. My Mastodon feed, on the other hand, I have curated it so well that it is almost on a very frequent basis showing me bird photography from almost exclusively German accounts. I don't know how this happened, but my Mastodon feed, there's always bird photography in it, and I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy about that. It's not a very fast-moving feed because I'm not following that many people, but there's a lot of bird photography, and that makes me really happy. Also, I found it really easy to filter out keywords for things that it's just like heavy amounts of American politics and that kind of thing that I'm just like, there's nothing I can do about that, and I'm already aware of it, so I need a break occasionally. Jenga says some young artists on Blue Sky tried to do some weird manhunt against Gurney because he put up a blog post talking about how AI isn't good at mapping planes of the face. They didn't actually read the post, they just went off a partial screen cap of it. And someone took all his books and threw them online for free, and in that fell swoop, I lost a lot of faith in Blue Sky. Oh no, context! Oh no, context! This is the problem with posting like a screen cap or like a link or whatever and not actually like giving context, is that the majority, anytime that you require someone to click on a link, you're gonna lose like 90% of the people reading it. By which I mean people are not getting past the headline and actually clicking through to read the article that you're commenting on. So it's really easy to like cherry pick, take things out of context, you know, that kind of thing. Just kind of inaccuracy your way into it. Maybe you didn't read it as well. Because anytime someone is required to click on something, you're going to lose most people because that's an effort that is anathema to scrolling. It takes you away from the scroll, and if someone wants to be scrolling their feed, they don't want to have to pop out into a new tab. Ugh. All these young kids complaining about how old people are so easily duped, and it's like, my friend, what do you mean? No, so I don't know what to do about social media now. No. I mean, I guess, like, that sucks, but it's also, like, a subset of people. It's not everyone. I think a lot of the time I'll see people being like, oh, this social media site is so toxic, or this community is so toxic, yada, yada, yada. And I have to remind myself when I think that, like, my experience is actually kind of siloed. Even when you think you're just seeing, like, the totality of a social medium, you're seeing a very small, like, slice of it. And there's a lot out there that is better, potentially, or at least different. But it's a matter of getting out of that tranche and finding what's happening in another one, sort of escaping containment is surprisingly difficult. Like I said, I'm really struggling to find other artists that, you know, sort of I relate to on Blue Sky. I know there's artists out there, but where are you? I don't know. It's really frustrating. So yeah, but that's really frustrating. Because I think I saw that going around and I was just like, oh, that sucks. And didn't really look into it any further because, again, same thing. But hearing the wider context about it, shoot, that extra sucks. Like, that sucks so super bad. And I'm likewise quite annoyed about that. Come on, y'all. Anyways. Ain't that just the way? But I mean, that's the thing, is that, like, I think, I don't know, critical thinking skills and context, nuance is lost on a lot of people in a lot of places. So many artists are only on Instagram, says Mimicry. Yeah. Or, like, and I understand this because this is one of the reasons that now I don't post on Twitter at all anymore, and I haven't in a very, very long time. I do still have my Twitter accounts, like I didn't delete them, but, you know, nothing has happened on those accounts in years at this point, and will not, because it's a garbage machine. And ew, I don't want to get into it here. But I was also like, when the, okay, a new social media is happening kind of wars started going, when people were like jumping ship off of Twitter and like, where are we going to go instead of Twitter? It was very much a case of like, I hate these social media migrations when like one site kind of dies and people are like moving across to other sites, because it's like, I know no matter which one of these I choose, I am going to lose people, because oftentimes this is like my primary communication source with a lot of like acquaintances and that kind of thing. And if we're not all navigating to the same other place, unless I have an account on every single one of them, I'm going to lose touch with people, and that makes me feel really sad. So I feel pressure to like get an account on every single one of them, and then I'm finding myself having to cross post my art to like 12 different sites every time I post a new painting or whatever. It's overwhelming, and it makes me post less, because it's just like, I can't keep up with everyone on every single one of these. That just eats my entire day. I can't do that. Consequently, I end up, sort of picking one and hoping for the best. Like, for instance, I'm not on Threads, I'm not on TikTok, I'm not on Facebook, God forbid. Probably other places that I'm forgetting that I'm also just not on. But like, I didn't want to join Threads because I heard the horror stories about Threads where like you can't delete your Threads account without deleting your Instagram account, yada yada yada, and just, I don't really like meta stuff in general. It's a compromise that I'm still on Instagram, and that's because, as was mentioned in the chat, there are a lot of artists that are only on Instagram, and I don't want to lose them because, a lot of them are my friends. But also, like, I'm neurodivergent. I'm not gonna have people's phone numbers. Like, this is the only way I keep in touch with people is by interacting with each other's social media posts. So unless we're very close friends or like I know you locally, so yeah. Anywho, Mr. Tom says, I fully yeeted my Twitter account in 24 because fuck that noise. And I think a lot of people, it was a hard one for me to lose at the beginning because I had a lot of nostalgia about it because I've been using it for a really long time. But on the other hand, it was an easy one for me to lose because pretty much everyone I know was like left. So I'm like, what's the point in my still being here? If everyone else is leaving, then I'm sure as hell not sticking around. Yes. Moriax, hello, welcome in. Says, one of the things I found from modern social media is that millennials and later gens assume they're immune to being fooled because they don't fall for obvious examples boomers fall for. They still do, just as much, especially when stuff agrees with views they already hold. Oh, 100%, absolutely. I've definitely seen people who very much espouse, like, and again, I don't want to open this can of worms, but like, we hate AI art, that kind of thing. Or like, AI generated images, let's say, because it's not art. just to be totally clear, that's my stance. Obviously, look at me, I'm doing watercolors here. But then we'll like share something and I can see the telltale signs of like, this was generated. Should I tell the person who shared this? Because I see the intent behind them sharing it, but I can also tell that a robot plagiarized this, and yeah. Anyways, thank you very much for the 20 stream steak pigeon. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Enjoy streaking. But yeah, like, it's like that Garfield meme. If you've ever seen that Garfield meme, actually, I don't know if that exists outside of Tumblr, but this meme that's like a low-res JPEG of Garfield's face, and it just says, "You are not immune to propaganda." And I think that's something that we all need to remember, is that, if it seems at all a little bit sus, maybe, just consider doing a little bit of critical thought, a little bit of research. But it's hard to do. It's hard to fact check every single thing we see when you're constantly being bombarded with stuff. So, like, I get it. Jenga says, oh gosh, can you imagine texting someone and not having access to Discord emotes for it? Ew! I completely agree. Mordex says Threads is a weird place. The algorithm is very strange and will show you stuff that's often opposed to what it thinks your views are because it registers them as what you're interested in. Ah, geez, ew, no thank you. That sounds awful. Mimicry says, I've seen the younger generation fall for costly email scams at work. No one is immune. Absolutely, 100%. It's wild. It's wild to me. But especially thinking that you are immune is a dangerous viewpoint to be in, because, like, you know, I had an email from an old bank, from, like, for clarity, for anyone who wasn't here for earlier chat about it. I live in the UK, but I was born in Canada. So I used to have my bank accounts used to be based in Canada, and obviously my banking is here now because I live in the United Kingdom. But I had issues with closing my Canadian bank accounts many years back. And then I got an email from what really looked like an email from my old bank back in Canada, and I was like, I had a really hard time figuring out whether or not this was a legit email. I ended up contacting my parents because they still live in Canada, and one of my bank accounts that I used to hold was a joint account with a parent. And so I contacted them to, like, actually go speak to the bank and find out whether or not this was a scam or if it was something they needed to worry about. And so they took it forward from there, but, like, it was hard. It was hard to tell, you know, and I am very intelligent. So, you know, like, you've got to be really wary of this shit. Anyways, Mr. Tom says, I need to make a new emote as I have space. I think a no AI one is going to happen. You know what? Respect. Massive respect. Mimicry says, when a scam coincides with a real event, it can be super hard to catch that. I mean, there's also the very real possibility. Like, I within my means, I try and, like, donate to things and people as often as I can, and there is a very real possibility that at some point I've donated to somebody's, you know, like, you know, like, my house burned down fund, or, you know, like, expensive medical costs GoFundMe or whatever, that may well have been somebody, you know, just, like, faking it, and you know, like, if I have at some point inadvertently been fooled by one of those, I am honestly kind of okay with it, because I would rather assume the best and do something to try and help somebody than never do it at all, because, oh, what if it's just a grifter? You know what I mean? I would rather hold that kindness in my heart and give £5 to somebody shitty by mistake. Yeah, anyways. On that note, I've gone on for too long. I've got to go cook my food, and also I want to leave before ads run again, because I don't want y'all to get trapped in another ad break, and I've got a whole ass bean soup to cook for dinner, so it's gonna take me a little bit of time to do. So I'm gonna see if I can find someone for us to do a little raid on, if I can. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's been very, very fun. No, but it's a nice time here. I'm sorry. I will try and send you to someone who's also really, really nice to hang with. I shall do my very best. Actually, I know exactly who I'm going to hope that this person isn't just about to end. I will double check before I start the raid, just in case. Just in case I'm checking to make sure that they're not just about to finish, because that would be really embarrassing, and I don't want to be embarrassing, because I'm shy. Okay, no, they started really, really recently, so we're gonna go here. I think this would be a nice place to land. But thank you so much in the meantime for hanging out with me. I've had a really lovely time. I'm gonna pop a raid message in the chat. If I can spell, that would be super great. This is the start of my anniversary week. We are going to do some more celebratory type stuff on Thursday, so you've got that to look forward to. We're going to be doing some nostalgic gubbins. There's a raid message in the chat. Feel free to grab the raid message. If you have the emotes, feel free to grab the emotes, and if you don't have the emotes, you can just say generic raid message or append any cool emotes that you do have. It's all good. We'll be back on Thursday with my 5-year streamiversary, so hope to see you there. Hope to see it. If I'm by myself for my 5-year streamiversary, I will cry for 3 hours on stream, and I don't think anybody wants that. as a stream or a VOD. So please, please, please show up. Or don't, whatever. It's fine. Anyways, I'm waffling because I need to leave now. We're going to raid Elove. Thank you so much for hanging out today. It's been a lot of fun. Take care, everyone. Good night and good luck.